Barry Salaam, who many of you know. He's a journalist, human rights campaigner, also an entrepreneur. And I met Barry Salaam in Kabul in 2002 when he set up that fantastic radio program called Good Morning Afghanistan. And I think 13 years on, we don't say Sabah khair, good morning Afghanistan, we say Shabah khair, good evening Afghanistan, because the day is longer. Farashta and Barry are going to present the recommendations for the Civil Society Conference, and then the Honourable Justine Greening will respond, and then Dr. Abdullah, you will respond as well. And we hope there will also be time for all of you to put your questions to the civil society activists and also to those who are here to take your questions and to hear your concerns. Barry Salaam, if you could please come and take the floor.
His Excellency Dr. Abdullah, Honorable Foreign Secretary Justine Greening, my role model in journalism, Lise Doucette, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by congratulating the international community and the Afghan new government for the first peaceful transition of power in Afghanistan. It was indeed a historic transition, but let's not forget that it was not a fully democratic one due to highly disputed results of the elections. What we expect from our leaders today is to respect the will of people who took to the polling stations to show that they wanted democracy, even at the expense of their lives. Democracy is the only means that unites Afghans and our nation today, and that's what defines our present-day society. So reforming democratic institutions and processes, especially the electoral bodies, should be one of the first priorities. We welcome the bold steps that the new government has taken to bring reforms. The momentum for change has been created, but we are equally concerned about differences and conflict of interest between the two sides in the government. So we ask the two sides to reform their relations first before embarking on major reforms of the government. We were expecting a cabinet to be in place by now, which we haven't. I hope the delay pays off in some way and we get the best cabinet ever. We have seen an excellent position paper from the government outlining all aspects of reform and good governance. Nothing is left unsaid and not promised. Indeed, more than civil society could have hoped for, we have seen in that position paper. But to make those promises deliverable, we have a few additional recommendations. First, our politicians must stop supporting and protecting corrupt officials and violators of human rights and women's rights. I can say with confidence that that's not happening, but we will wait. Secondly, they should free our law enforcing bodies and justice sector from political interferences. Justice should be served first to the justice sector itself. Third, they must end favoritism and nepotism in public administration and allow the highly educated young women and men to lead the key government positions and play their role as the real force for change. The aim should be gender equality, reinforced by gender budgeting in all sectors at all levels. Ladies and gentlemen, Afghans believe that the signing of bilateral security agreement with the United States and NATO will bring them more security and stability. Taliban are mounting their terrorist attacks recently to prove that idea wrong. We call on the international community to take substantial measures to reinforce our security forces and to help contain violent attacks on civilians. Our security agreement should provide us more protection against cross-border infiltrations and interferences being the main source of insecurity. But let's also not forget that the key to stabilization is the economic growth of Afghanistan. So sustainable peace and security depends on tackling poverty and ending the social causes of insurgency and terrorism. We call on our international friends to increase their investments in civilian sector as they draw down their military presence and forces. We need your assistance in building our infrastructure, but also in unleashing our potential in mining and regional economic cooperation. Please hold on to us as we start our real journey towards self-sustainability, and we are sure in the years to come we will make a much better and stronger partner, one that the international friends can count on. We in the civil society will be committed to play our role as a watchdog and a driving force for positive changes. We will prepare the ground for national dialogue on issues of national importance, hopefully bridging political and social differences and gaps that undermine reform. And we will also work on our sustainability to depend less on foreign aid in the years to come. And let me end by giving you good news that a new generation of civil society activists working entirely on voluntary basis is already emerging, and they will be working tirelessly for bringing more positive changes in Afghanistan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barry Salaam, from a representative of this new generation of Afghans who have made a commitment to their country and to what he has emphasized at the beginning must be a democratic country. And that is where, as he emphasized, Afghanistan's future must lie. Not just with democracy, but with reform. Reform which begins, Dr. Abdullah, with the reform of the relationship. He said had two sides. You sort of raised your eyebrow and said, is there only two sides to the relationship? But yes, we're the third side. Reform of the institution, ending corruption, ending favoritism. These are ills that don't just afflict Afghanistan, but they are urgent in Afghanistan. And also, as he emphasized, a need for better security. The journey is beginning, as Barry Salaam says. Also, Afghans also depending on their foreign partners, even though aid will start to diminish. I'm going to give the floor to you now, Justine Greenan, then Dr. Abdullah, you can have the last word.